A transparent energy wall blocked the woman's way. She reached out to touch it, but couldn't penetrate it. She tried to go around it, but the invisible wall seemed to stretch into the mountain, as if it were trapping her here. When she tried again, her fingers seemed to slide over a cold, smooth, glass-like surface, and the wall rose higher. Her heart tight. This was no illusion. She decided to take another path down the mountain. After turning a corner, the woman saw a wooden house with two elderly people outside. She walked up to ask them for help, but once again, she was blocked by the invisible wall. The wall stood between the woman and the house. She knocked on the wall with her fists and called out loudly, but the elderly people outside seemed to hear nothing and didn't respond. It was only then that the woman noticed the two elderly people were motionless. Water flowed over the old man's hand, and the elderly woman sat at the door, staring at the man. The scene was unnervingly surreal. The woman started to panic. By evening, she found herself back on the original path, and the wall was still there. Now she had to admit she was trapped, and decided to look for another way out the next day. Back at the villa, she heard a noise outside during the night. She got up quietly, went to the door, and opened it. To her surprise, a strong barrier blocked the door. The space inside had shrunk, and she was now trapped in her room. Desperate, she pressed her face against the wall and shouted outside. It turned out this was all just a dream. She hurriedly got up, walked to the door, and carefully extended her hands, relieved to find there were no barriers outside. Using binoculars, she observed the two elderly people from yesterday. They were still motionless. Water continued to flow and the grass swayed in the wind, but the two people were frozen in place. Leaning against the wall, the woman made up her mind. She couldn't just sit and wait any longer. She started her car and attempted to smash through the energy wall. Just before she reached the wall, she saw a car parked outside.